Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for tuning in. So we are on episode 10 of Younger season 7. We're almost down to the final episode. I think there's 12 episodes this season, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started with this review recap of episode 10. When the episode starts off, Liza is walking down the street filming Maggie, trying to hype her up for her show that she's having at this dive bar. She's having like a kind of like small show, and she's hoping people show up. So when they get to the bar, unfortunately it is empty. Nobody is really in there because, again, Maggie has been, canceled, blacklisted. Nobody is like checking for her right now because of all the stuff that the dean said. All the stuff that the dean said on Twitter. So it's like empty. Josh and Lauren and Liza are there to support her, but nobody else is there. And so Lauren's trying to put it together. Lauren is the social media queen, and so she's trying to like get people in there to help Maggie. While they're there, Lauren sees the dean. The dean was at the bar. Nobody else saw her, but Lauren saw her, and so Lauren tells her to leave. Don't let Maggie see you, because you've already ruined her career. You need to leave. Why are you here? So she's like, I've seen enough, and she leaves. Then we go to Kelsey, who is still sneaking around with Rob, Claire's ex-boyfriend, and still has not told Claire. But she's sticking around with Rob. And again, she's still kind of hesitant, but he kind of she likes him. So she just kind of gets over any reservations she has about him, and continues to move forward with their date and just being together. We go to the next morning at Empirical. Liza and Kelsey are discussing the plans that they have for the app that they want to make for the incubator. They don't have anybody to make an app. They don't have any money to put into an app. So that is one of the issues they're having. They don't know how they'll get it off the ground because they don't know who could even do it for them. And Kelsey put all of her money that she had into Dylan Park's advance so they could just keep her as part of their roster. And then while they're talking, they get a text from Charles saying he really needs to see them. And when they go to his office for a meeting, he's like, I've heard about this incubator thing from a couple people, and people are asking me about it, and they think it's part of Empirical, and I want you to let them know it don't got nothing to do with Empirical at all. Charles is just being annoying, and he's like, you all have real jobs and you need to focus on that instead of this little project that you guys are doing. I don't know what the writers do. They want us to like Charles this season? I don't think they do. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like they don't want us to like Charles. But he tells them, I want you to make it clear to everybody that this is a separate thing. It doesn't have anything to do with Empirical. And so Kelsey, and Liza are upset, and they're like, we'll make sure we leave Empirical out of it, and that it don't have nothing to do with you at all. And I'm like, keep it that way. Don't let it have nothing to do with him. Even once you are able to get it off the ground, don't pitch it to him again, because that's their plans, to pitch it to him once they have resources and they have a real plan. They want to pitch it to him so he can put it on Empirical. But I'm just like, do it separate from Empirical. Don't give him no piece of the pie at all. Just do it for you. Liza stays and tells him, you should give it a chance. You should stop by so you could just kind of see what it's all about. And you could just see that it really is a real thing. And so she gives him the passcode to the door to get into Incubator, because you need a secret passcode, and tells him to stop by. At Incubator later that night, it is full, it is packed, and Liza, like I said, Liza wants him to see that it's very a low-key thing, and that they're just trying to get up-and-coming people off the ground. But of course, the night that she invites Charles, it is fully packed house, line wrapped around, out the door, down the street. And so they're inside getting ready to get started. Kelsey is sitting at the bar. She gets a text from Rob, but coincidentally, so she gets a text from Rob, Claire shows up, and she's like, odd coincidence. What's up, Claire? What are you doing? And Claire says that Lauren enlisted her to help them with the app. Claire works at Google, so she's like, could we afford a Google developer to help us with the app? And Claire offers to do it for free for them. And she's like, you're my friend, and I'm going to do it for you. And I'm thinking, Y'all friends and she doing free stuff for you, and you out here with her ex-boyfriend because you don't even think she a real friend. Because you don't think she your friend. But she thinks you friend enough to do a free app for you. I don't know, Kelsey. I don't know if I'm with her on this one. They've done several things and mentioned Rob several times. And she should have been told Claire. Charles does end up showing up to Incubator that night. He says the passcode to get into the door, and he comes in. It's like a salon. It's like a lot of people, and he seems he seems impressed about the turnout. But Liza's like, don't worry, it's still very low key, and like all of these people are newbies, and they just want to read their work, and they get ready to get started. Liza gets the news that award-winning author Azalea King is in the house, and she wants to read an unpublished work that she has, and she gets on stage and reads it. So Charles' first impression of Incubator is this like famous author reading at Incubator. So it was a really good first impression for him, and he's really about big names, so he's probably definitely gonna be interested in it now. So, but yeah, so he keeps looking at Liza during the night, like very impressed by her. So the next morning, Kelsey and Lauren are looking at the app that Claire built. Kelsey is super impressed because it's amazing. She did it super quick, but Lauren tells her it's because she already had like layout from somebody else she worked with, and so she was able to get Kelsey's done using the same thing. And Kelsey's really appreciative. And as they're talking in Kelsey's office, a mail delivery person delivers like a gift for Kelsey. It's a Monopoly game that is obviously from Rob because they were talking about Monopoly on their date. And Kelsey says she ordered that when she was like drunk one night, just online shopping. So Lauren, lets it go. And then the card comes. The mail lady forgot the card, and she gives her the card, and it says from Rob. And and Lauren's like, oh, he can't take a hint. Then you tell him it's over, And she's like, you did tell us. Lauren picks up that actually Kelsey did not let it go. Like Kelsey did not break up with him. And she tells Kelsey, you need to tell Claire because you are sneaking around with her ex-boyfriend when she's doing all this amazing stuff for us, and she's so nice to them, and she thinks they're friends. So Kelsey agrees she's going to tell Claire. Later that day at the office, I'll see all the buzz about their incubator from the night before because Azalea King showed up, so now it's super high profile and everybody has heard about it. And Charles like, how did you get Azalea King to come? And Liza's like, that just happened. We didn't have nothing to do with that happening. We didn't even know she was coming. It's a safe place for authors to come and read their work. So we want that to be what Incubator is. And obviously she felt that and she came. He's super impressed. He does want to sit down and meet with them. And Kelsey's like, we'll see if we can do something later. Liza wanted to do it right then because Liza was just like, yes, let's do a meeting. And I'm just like, Liza, calm down. Like, as soon as Charles suggested a meeting, Liza was quick to jump on. I'm like, Liza, calm down. Like, she is just too, what's the word? Thirsty. Liza's too thirsty when it comes to Charles. And I don't appreciate this season at all. I don't appreciate it. And Kelsey's like, hold on. We'll have to discuss and we'll see, and we'll get back to you. Like, we could do a meeting later on tonight. And Kelsey's like, he only wants to meet with us because we have that super high profile author that came to the incubator, but she wants time to sit down with Claire to actually finalize the app before she pitches it to Charles, and she wants to have everything done. So later at Maggie's art show, like famous art critic came to her show, like it's been empty all this time. So Clive Wexler, the art critic, is impressed with her show. So Claire and Kelsey are at Josh and Kelsey's apartment. Josh, Kelsey, and Lauren's apartment, and they are working on the app. And Claire asks to see Kelsey's phone so she can log in on the phone to the app, and she does that. And as soon as she handed the phone to Claire, I was like, you over here keeping secrets and you just giving her your phone away? Something is obviously about to happen. Rob is about to text you, which he does. So then she asked to see Kelsey's computer so she could log into the app on the computer. And while she still has the phone in her hand, she gets a text from Rob. Claire's like, oh, who is this? Who's Rob? Kelsey's like, oh, nobody. She tries to take the phone back. But as she's trying to take the phone back, another text comes in from Rob mentioning like hockey and all this in the Hudson and everything, and that's how she knows. She's like, my Rob, my ex-boyfriend Rob, that's how she knows it's him. And then another like sexy flirty text comes in. So at this point the cover is blown. Claire knows that Kelsey's been sneaking around with Rob and ain't told her. And she's like, how could you do that? And the fact that you haven't told her is going to lead her to think maybe y'all was doing stuff when we were together. And so Kelsey's like, it just happened. I didn't mean to hurt you. And Kelsey's like, were you with him when you took me out to brunch when you was pretending to be my friend? And she kind of storms off, and Josh comes into the room, and Josh he don't know what's going on, but she tells him, and he was like, Claire's Rob? Everybody, shocked because that's Claire's ex-boyfriend, girl code. And as they're talking, Claire storms back in. She's like, how could you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And Kelsey's trying to apologize, but it's really no explanation, especially since you didn't tell me. It's not like we had a woman-to-woman talk. You literally been sneaking around behind my back. And so she says she's going to take Gemma because she doesn't feel comfortable with Gemma being in the apartment with Kelsey. And I was like, okay, you're doing a bit much. Kelsey decides to leave, so she's like, no, you don't have to leave. I'll leave. And she goes to stay at Maggie and Liza's house for the night. Kelsey tells Liza and Maggie that she's going to start looking for a place. She's been meaning to find a place anyway, and it's probably about time, but she didn't know how she was going to do it because she put all her money into Dillon Park, but she really needs to find a place to be because she can't keep running into Claire at the house now that they have this issue between them. Liza says she'll go to dinner with Charles that night. Kelsey is going to be looking for an apartment, and she is upset, so Liza says she'll do it by herself. Maggie goes to her art show. She seemed like she was planning on skipping it because wasn't nobody going to be there anyway, and because nobody has been there. But Lauren pulls her in, and when she goes into the bar, it is fully packed. Tons of people are inside the bar viewing her art. The show is a hit. Maggie's like, how did this happen? How did all these people get here? How did people hear about it? What changed? Lauren tells her because Clive Wexler, the art critic, came and he raved about it on social media. Now everybody is coming to her art exhibit to see it, and it is a total success. The dean shows up, and Maggie sees her, kind of confronts her, and the dean apologizes to Maggie for everything she did. She says she's so sorry, and she mentions that her and her wife have separated. She realized that her wife was the one that was in the wrong, as you should. She realized her wife was in the wrong, and she apologized to Maggie. She mentions Clive Wexler, and Maggie's like, oh, you know Clive Wexler? And we get the sense, and so does Maggie, that really it was Dean Wexler. I'm sorry, not Dean Wexler. It was the dean who got Clive Wexler to come to her art exhibit in the first place, as like a sort of apology and to make amends. So that's kind of how she apologized to Maggie. So now Maggie is not canceled anymore, and it seems like people are down with her art once again. So at dinner that night, like Liza went on the dinner by herself with Charles to talk about Incubator. Charles is saying how much he loves it. He wants to bring it on to Empirical, and again, I don't think they should, but it's just annoying that he had to have somebody famous behind it for him to realize the potential. Half the good things and good books and good products and good authors and all that stuff that have happened at Empirical have been because of Liza and Kelsey. I don't understand why he would not trust their vision and trust that they would bring something that would be successful, but whatever. But all of a sudden now it's a popular, famous author. You're like, oh, I'm down. Ugh. Charles this season, no. No. He really wants to bring Incubator into Empirical, and also he wants to bring that famous author with them, even though she doesn't belong to the Incubator. But he wants them to reach out to her as well. But then they kind of start talking about him and Quinn and their relationship. And I don't think they should ever talk about him and Quinn's relationship. It's awkward. Liza is moving on too fast to forgiving him, and just it's really upsetting. It's upsetting me and my homegirls, okay? It really is. After dinner, they're leaving the restaurant, and Charles and Liza have been drinking, and Charles is saying how much, how good of partners they make and how good of a woman Liza is. And I was like, Okay, boundaries, Liza. Boundaries, Charles. Y'all not together. You got a girlfriend, Charles. And they are a little bit tipsy, but still, calm it down. And Charles kind of leans in like he's about to kiss Liza, and she didn't seem to be leaning away. She was going to let him kiss her, and he was about to kiss her. And as they were like getting closer, the server comes in and lets him know that he forgot his card. But if the server had not interrupted them, they would have definitely kissed, and it would have been a whole nother issue. Charles and Liza leave each other, and then the episode ends. So that is episode 10. I'm really losing hope for Team Josh. I really am losing hope for Team Josh. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine how they could get them together in 2 episodes. I can't imagine. Literally, this whole season has been about Liza being being a pushover for Charles, really, and Charles being a jerk to Liza, getting with Quinn, and Liza being real sad about it. So I guess they're trying to allude that they're gonna be together. But that's really annoying me. But I'm not going to talk about that on this episode. We're going to talk about that probably next episode or the finale. Let me know what you thought of episode 10. I'll see you on my next video.